Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk about network security and how to test performance of next generation firewalls. I'm going to discuss how a firewall protects the network from cyber threats, how to performance test a firewall, and how to avoid bringing your network down in the process. I'll even show you a few things you may not have considered. What is a firewall and what does it do? A firewall is a security device used to monitor and control incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules. Firewalls are an essential part of any organization's cybersecurity infrastructure, as they act as the main line of defense against external threats. A firewall has four main jobs: to identify traffic types, to let legitimate traffic through, block illegitimate traffic, and some firewalls can even prioritize your traffic. Let's dive into types of traffic. Legitimate traffic is any traffic that's allowed to be on your network. That could be business applications, conference calls, emails, etc. Illegitimate traffic can fall under two categories. The first is traffic that your corporation wants to block based on corporate policy. This could be social media like TikTok, certain channels on YouTube, BitTorrent, or even video games. The other is malicious traffic. This is traffic with malware signatures that poses intentional threats to the network, such as phishing, spyware, Trojan horses, DDoS attacks, etc. When choosing a firewall, you've got to test how well it identifies and blocks malicious or unwanted traffic. But also, does it successfully let authorized traffic through without bringing down your network? It's all well and good to stop the malicious traffic, but if during a high-scale attack it can't let authorized traffic through at a high enough rate, your production is going to come to a halt. So, to performance test a firewall, you need to be able to generate all types of traffic, and more importantly, you need to generate this traffic at a real-world scale. A traffic generator is a perfect tool for this job. Using traffic generators for firewall testing allows you to replicate real-world traffic scenarios, generate large volumes of valid and malicious traffic, monitor the firewall's performance metrics during the test, analyze the results to identify any issues, stress test the load or the sessions of that firewall, and perform repeatable tests across multiple firewall manufacturers or software releases that you may be considering. In this test setup, we'll be simulating both the typical application traffic and the malicious attacks simultaneously. Here we're emulating traffic coming from different client types and hitting an application server with the firewall in the middle. By using a traffic generator, you can emulate clients at a very high scale and the specific application traffic being sent, like video streaming, business applications, or social media. Then, using a library of attacks and common vulnerability exploits, otherwise known as CVEs, you can program the traffic generator to send malicious traffic, including malware, viruses, DDoS, spyware, and more. Finally, you'll use the traffic generator to simulate the server side. This way you can determine whether the firewall was able to identify and stop the unauthorized traffic from entering the network, as well as measuring how efficiently it was able to let the valid traffic through. Another important consideration when testing firewalls is session testing. Constantly high session usage can lead to an overload situation. This causes the firewall to slow down, resulting in performance degradation. In this case, you need to identify the specific type of sessions responsible for the overload. This could be something like TCP, UDP, ICMP, or SSL proxy. By using a traffic generator to hit the firewall with TCP and UDP traffic at a very high rate, you can assess the firewall session limitations, determine the maximum number of simultaneous connections it can withstand, measure how fast the firewall is setting up and tearing down sessions, and resolve and recognize issues that arise in real-world scenarios. You also want to be sure to use a prototype network in the lab environment to test your firewall, because testing in the production network is sure to bring down your network and get your entire IT department fired. Using a network emulator, you can replicate the network conditions of your production environment, including latency, bandwidth limitation, and loss, so you're testing in a realistic and controlled environment. The need for firewall testing arises from the fact that firewalls can become outdated and vulnerable over time. As technology and cybersecurity threats continue to evolve, firewalls must keep up with these changes to remain effective. Firewall testing helps organizations identify potential weaknesses in their security infrastructure and take steps to fix them before they're exploited by cyber criminals. Firewall testing also helps organizations prevent attacks such as zero-day, distributed denial of services, port scanning, and intrusion attempts. Companies like Emulator track CVEs and publish the new ones every month. By simulating these types of attacks during testing, organizations can identify and address vulnerabilities before it's too late. To learn more about how traffic generators can help performance test firewalls, follow the links in the video description.